Good morning, my friends. How are you? Good morning. It's very, very good to be here. Let me make sure that we start off on the right foot. And I think this is the first time that we meet after I changed the schedule from a weekly to bi-weekly. The reason I did that is just because there's other exciting projects that I'm working on, and I didn't want to do anybody, myself, or you at the service by showing up, half-assed. Pardon the French there, but I wanted to be fully here as opposed to half here, half there. And so we're going to meet every other Tuesday. Now's the 22nd, then in not next week on the 29th, but the week after that, we're going to meet again. And other than that, the structure is the same. I'm still going to be opening the Slido pages for people to submit questions, and I will still try to do my best to manage our time up to the bottom of the hour. It's 9 a.m. here in Seattle, where I am, Pacific time zone. We will end at 9:30. For the Eastern time zone, it's noon, so 12 to 12:30. And I either answer all of the questions that you have sent in, or we run out of time, whatever happens first. But we're going to be done typically at the bottom of the hour, just like always. So, with that out of the way, let me start like I always do with a quote. And it's here. Nothing, I'm half blind, my friend, so bear with me. Holding on is believing that there's only a past. Letting go is knowing that there's a future. So if you're holding on to something, if there's an issue, if there's even if it's good things, if your mind is set towards the past, then that's it. That's all you're going to know, the past. Whereas if you let go and if you become adventurous and curious about the future, then that's what you have. And I would submit that that's probably the best way to be curious, be open, embrace the future, embrace change, even embrace uncertainty, because that's where growth comes. So I hope you like that quote. I thought that it was inspiring, and I wanted to share it with you. Let's go into the first question. How do I ensure that I'm seen as promotional material by leadership? The first thing that you need to be in order to become promoted, and let me underline the word be in order to be promoted, is you have to be ready to do the job at at the level of that next level that you want to be promoted to. So if you're a director, before you consider being promoted to a senior director role, you have to already be performing as a senior director, and so on and so forth. So you want to be promoted, you have to already be performing and delivering at the level of that next rung up the ladder that you want to be promoted to. Easy, simple as that. So always go above and beyond. Try to understand the requirements of your current job and try to go above and beyond. Understand your stakeholders, understand how to influence them in the best possible way, understand the strategy for your company, lead your team, help them deliver more. As they do that, they will allow you to deliver above and beyond at the level that you want to be promoted to. And only then will you be considered as minimally ready to go on to the next level. So that's it. It's very, very simple. You want to be seen as promotional material. Make sure that you deliver above the level you're sitting at right now. Punch above your weight. Be confident in your superpowers. Be confident in your ability. And that's it. Trust yourself. And that includes using all of those skills, not only the intellect, not only the ability to write clearly, not only your technical skills. It's how you interact with others, how you influence others, how you communicate a vision, how you develop a team, how you bring others behind you that will help grow, that will help you grow. All of that gives you the ability to deliver at the level at which you want to be promoted, or to which you want to be promoted at the very least. So that's very important. I hope that's helpful. I don't want to belabor the point. You want to be promoted to, you're in level one, you want to be promoted to level two. You should at least be performing and delivering at level two. And you should leave no doubt in anybody's mind that you are able to perform at level 3. So that's it. Sounds easy. It takes a lot of skills, but what do you need? That's what you need. All right. Hopefully that was helpful. Let's go to the next question. How can I present bad news to senior stakeholders without damaging my image? Thank you for this question. This is an important question. Many people mistake not giving bad news or only giving good news with a good image. So many people seem to conflate and tie these two things together. Your good image is not dependent upon only delivering good news. I would even argue that it could be the opposite. So if you are transparent and quick and timely in delivering bad news, in saying this is not working correctly, we need to improve it, we need to fix it, and this is how we fix it, that's what makes you stand out from others. Many times in my 35 plus years of career, I had to go and put out fires and solve problems that would not have been this problems if I had informed people in a timely way, or if I had been informed in a timely way. When something goes wrong and you hide that from view, and all you want to show on your scorecard is green, 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 even though there might be red lights, even yellow lights. If you do that, then you're doing yourself a disservice and you're doing the company and your team a disservice. Because at some point, things are going to break, and then you're going to deliver one of the worst things that you can deliver in career wise, which is a surprise, a bad surprise. Do not mislead people into thinking that everything is green and hunky dory and perfect, and then have something break that could have been averted, that could have been avoided, that could have been prevented because you chose not to deliver bad news. So, the best way to preserve your image in front of senior stakeholders when delivering bad news is be quick, be transparent, have a plan, or at least have an opinion as to what you can do. Bad news will always happen. I am pretty sure that your senior stakeholders know that no such thing as a perfect life exists. Problems will arise. The difference is, what do you, my friend, what do you do with that? Remember my favorite saying, you cannot control the wind, but you can control the sails. You will run into problems. What's the so what? What are you going to do with that? So go and communicate that. There's a problem. This is what I think is wrong. This is what I'm going to do about it. And be quick about it. Don't hide. Don't try to mislead people into thinking that under your watch everything is perfect if it isn't. Transparency is the name of the game. Okay, let's move on to the next one. How do I overcome doubt and imposter syndrome in the workplace? Well, listen, the first thing that you need to realize is that you're not alone. Everybody, from the most junior person to the most senior person, feels imposter syndrome at some point or other, depending on the circumstances. One of my dearest and most influential mentors was a CFO for a very large company. And this came up when I told him about how I felt like an imposter before a presentation that I had to give the CEO of the company where we were at, pretty large company. And I went to him and I said, I need some help. I feel very, very nervous. I don't know that I'm able to do this. And he said, yes, you are ready. Yes, you can do it. And let me tell you a story. One he shared was that before talking to analysts, every single time, every quarter when he talked to analysts, he felt like an imposter. He felt like he was probably not going to measure up, or that some question was going to stump him and expose him as a fraud. By the way, and for the record, I always tried to stump him. I always tried to give him hard questions that he would not be able to answer. Maybe it was just a hobby that I developed. I was never able to do it. Why? Because he was always over prepared. The point is, everybody feels imposter syndrome. Do not let that little voice inside your head derail you, distract you, or take away from your value. You are where you exactly need to be. You are where you are because you earned it, because you have value to add, because you have something to say. So never feel like people are going to be judging you for every word or for every tone in your contributions. Be sure of what you can bring. Know that you add value. Look at yourself, close your eyes for a little, do some retrospective thinking, and revisit those moments of triumph, those moments of strength, those moments of power where you were at your best. Let me leave you with a question, which is really important. And I want you to consider this, my friend. Are you ready? Okay, so here's the question. The question is, who are you when you are at your best? Think about that. When you are your favorite person because you cannot go wrong, think of an actual time when you were at this level of superpower. You couldn't go wrong. Everything you said, people nodded or wanted to hear more. You have that in you. So revisit that. Answer this question for yourself. Who are you when you are at your best? And always before going into that review, that meeting, that conversation, revisit that. Live that moment again. You have it in you. So don't feel bad that you feel like an imposter. Like I said, everybody feels like one, at least in 3+ decades of doing this. I've never met anybody who doesn't feel this at one point or another. And just live with it. Know that it happens, but trust in your abilities, trust in your strength, and trust in your wisdom. You're going to be okay. You have value to add, you have things to say, and you have solutions to share with others. You can do this. You got this. Okay? All right, let's go to the next one. How do I manage conflicts between two strong personalities in my team? Well, this is a common situation, my friend. Oftentimes, we have people who are very opinionated. They could even be correct. Many times, they have different perspectives of the same problem or the same issue, the same situation, and they both feel they have an exclusivity on the truth, right? And this is when problems begin because they're both smart, they're both opinionated, and they both think that their version of it is the right one. That's when those conflicts arise. And note that I'm assuming that these are smart people, right? It could also be that they're not, but I'm not going to go there. I'm going to be graceful and generous and really, truthfully, all kidding aside, everybody has some wisdom to share. And I'm pretty sure that these two strong personalities have things that they can add and that they are willing to add. And sometimes they might be feeling that that contribution is the truth. That's it. Nothing else can be wrong. When you see that, you have to make sure that you help them see, as the leader of the team, so that's what I assume you are, you help them see that you're all working together. This is not a competition to see who's right and who's wrong and who's more powerful, who's less powerful. Don't indulge in power games or in things where somebody wants to be a protagonist more than others. Remind everybody, be transparent, be calm, have a cool head, and bring them back to the fact that you are a team. It's not about the individualities. It's about the greatness that they individually possess and how can they collaborate so that the team is bigger as a result, smarter, richer, delivers more, performs better. So engage with them one-on-one. Try to understand what's driving them, what's the motivation. Help them understand that the other person might also have an additional point of view that will complement that and strengthen their own, if that's indeed the case. So understand what they're coming from. Bring them back to the point that it's a team sport. Row together. See where you want to go together. Have your noses point in the same direction and help each other, because that's the way that teams get better, that teams become great, when everybody's working for the good of the team, for the objective. So make sure that this is transparent to them, that this is your expectation, and that you don't reward the loudest voice or the most dominant presence in the meeting. You reward the contribution that makes the team smarter and stronger. Second is try to make cool heads prevail. Cool down the friction. Disengage, have them disengage from their fight. If they're locking horns and they're fighting because they all want to dominate the conversation, have them disengage, cool down the atmosphere, bring them back to team, and have them understand that your expectation as a leader of a team that you expect to be outstanding, your expectation is that everybody will respect everybody else, and that everybody will assume that the other person has something to add. Take some time. It's not easy, but that's what I would recommend you do. Don't tolerate upmanship, right? So don't tolerate this game where somebody says something at this level, the other person tries to be a little more. That's a upmanship. And then they try to just do an escalation that leads nowhere but to frustration and to wasted time. Stop it, nip it in the bud. Let them know that they're together, that you expect all of them to be a team. They all have to have a high quotient of trust and performance. That's your expectation. You don't want to have people who are strong, super solid performers, but low on trust from everybody else because they always feel they're right. This is not the right way for a team. That's your ability as a leader. Make sure that they see the mission, make sure that they feel they're part of the solution, but importantly, that the other person also is. Have them learn from each other and lead by example. I cannot emphasize this enough. Lead by example. You can preach all you want, but if you are yourself a dominant person who tries to drown everybody else in the meetings that you're at because you're trying to show how strong you are, then guess what? Your team sees that and they won't believe you. You're going to lose their trust. So become trustworthy, live by example, and let them see that your expectation is that they're a team, not individualities, and you're going to reward team building and team strengthening by all parties, and not becoming the loudest voice or the most visible presence. Okay, let's go to the next question. I hope that made sense. Okay, final question. Should I pursue further education or focus on work experience for career growth? Well, very valid question. It's a mixture of both. What do I mean? I don't mean necessarily go and get a PhD. Of course, by all means, go do that if that's what you believe you need, or an MBA or some postgraduate study. It's good. I'm not dissing them. Don't misunderstand me. It's good to always get formal education, but is it necessary for career growth? Not really. It has become more of table stakes. So when I started, very few people had MBAs and postgraduate degrees. That's how old I am. Now it's almost like you need to have that just to join the game, right? So it is, of course, useful and it's helpful, but it's not a prerequisite. Some of the most successful people I know that I saw, like very accomplished high-level leaders, did not have an MBA. They just had their formal education. That said, they did work on acquiring skills. These are self-aware people who know exactly what their weak spot or blind spots are, what skills they still need, where do they need to get better. And that's something that I would say you do need. What skills would you need? What skills can make you better? Are you good at communication? Could you be better? Well, there you go. There's one area to improve. There's many ways to do that. You can get a coach, you can buy a course, You can enroll in some training. I would say that the most important thing is realize not only what the skills are, but what your inventory of strengths and belief is. You can do anything you set out to do, but you need to have clarity. What is it you want to do? What are the obstacles if there's more than one? What is holding you back? Do you have something that is impeding your own progress? Get a coach. I mean, not because I am a coach, but because I am a coach, I will tell you that many people are more held back by themselves. They're their own problem than it is the lack of skills or lack of educations. You can get skills that are enormously valuable and that'll probably carry you further, like being self aware, like understanding with clarity what your goals are, like understanding what in those goals is going to make you a full person, a whole person, beyond just work or beyond just leisure or beyond just family. You are a mixture of different things. So if you understand that, and what do you need to enrich and fortify that mixture, then you're ahead of the game. What is stopping you? How can you move from thinking and planning into action, into execution of those things that will bring you to your best version, right? How do you become who you want to become? And by the way, do you know who you want to become? That's what you need in order to grow. You don't necessarily need a degree, a formal degree. You do need curiosity. So learn about everything you can. Learn about your business, learn about your team, learn about your boss, learn about whatever, everything. Be open, be humble. Always see an opportunity to learn in everything that happens. And that'll get you farther than just the education. I've seen people, and I will stop with this, who make the mistake of thinking that just because they have the diplomas, they're entitled to growth. They're entitled to success. They're entitled to promotions. They're not. This is more inside you than it is about the titles that you hold. Titles will help. Sure, they won't hurt. But it's more about you than it is about the titles. So hopefully that made sense and that was helpful. And nothing to say. We're done with our 5 questions for today. We still have a couple of minutes left. So just to remind you, we will be back not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after that, and so on and so forth. Every other week we will meet. I wish you a very successful rest of the week and a very successful week next week. I'll see you back in November, and you know where to find me. If you're interested in being coached, if you're interested in learning what coaching can give you, reach out. Go and visit my website, eduardolopezpineda.com, and let's get in touch. Let's get into a conversation, book a complimentary meeting, a complimentary session, and I would be happy to explore with you and see if this is something that you believe could bring you to the next level. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you here in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye. Take care.